filmmakers, Orson Welles, working in this genre. And if you think about, you know, the sort of stuff you'll see on television, like crime stories, they're constantly on there, right? Law and Order was an incredibly successful television series for a reason. And it's a genre with a lot of diversity. So before I did this, I had a chance to talk with Jesse Quill, who will, now that I've got a fairly full chat, I'll be taking a minute to properly shout out. But the idea here is that there's a lot of vitality in this genre. It's an opportunity to talk about some interesting ideas and sort of see where you go with them. It naturally lends itself to drama. Obviously, these are people in extreme situations. And of course, a company like Visceral should be good at telling stories like this. Now, it may not turn out to be the case. Like in this case, this is going to be one of the few games where I actually am playing effectively blind through the through the stream. So we just may wind up getting stuck and dying a whole lot. But in this case, I really want to see, a nice-looking game on this PC that I've built, a chance to experience this story alongside with you guys, and maybe just try something new. And in this case here, to do so in a genre that, when you think about it, I think one of the reasons why we find crime stories so interesting is that, in the end, whether you're looking at it from the detective point of view or from the criminal's point of view, this is where, humanity's gone wrong, right? We've created a set of rules and institutions to establish order. And you can say, you get maybe a story like Les Miserables, where you have Jean Valjean stealing a loaf of bread. And this is about somebody's socioeconomic circumstances leading them to commit crime. And whether or not, you've got this Javert character who believes that, criminals are criminals and they're never going to change. Or you can have this view that says, circumstance is what's creating these, and maybe we need a set of rules that appreciate that. And again, whether it's the detective's point of view, whether it's the criminal's point of view, there's a lot of different ways that you can explore humanity and the sorts of situations that people find themselves in. Just because it's about crimes doesn't mean that this is just about something that is only relevant to people who are maybe on the wrong side of the tracks, or the detectives. Because of course, as the headlines are telling us, the line sometimes between who's doing the right and wrong thing, as many of our headlines have recently indicated, doesn't so evenly fall. The bad guys can often be inside a uniform as well. So the genre offers us a lot of very interesting storytelling opportunities. Obviously, gaming has no requirement. I think one of the reasons why I wanted to play this game is because in the end, the Battlefield series is entirely about shooting, right? And so this could be a cop game where it's entirely about killing people, and at that point, it's a really missed opportunity. But it might be something a little bit more. And Penny Lane 220, thank you so much for that follow. So guys, before we start playing the game, I do need to give a second to give a proper shout out to Jesse Quill. And I think the only appropriate way to do so is to do one of these, stiff drinks that I'm known to do. And often, as is often the case, some of the Team Panda members like doing this ASMR business. So you already know the drill. We'll maybe just put a little appropriate music on. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with ASMR, sometimes you have these little sounds going on in the background. Of course, you need to speak quietly and closely into the mic, and as Bishna points out, that this is becoming a bit of a regular thing on the stream, but of course, this is because Jesse Quill was kind enough to give us the first host of the evening. And I think the biggest thing that I need to tell you guys about is that she's been doing a Star Wars week. And one of the best moments of the Star Wars week has been when she always goes back and says, I remember this game, and you get to recapture a little bit of your childhood. And I think what makes it a particularly special moment is that I often talk about Jesse Quill's facial expressions, and particularly her expressive eyes. And so you kind of get to have that spark of recognition. You see that in yourself when you watch it on her cast. But in addition, one of the greatest rewards of that stream would be if you write something a little bit silly in the stream, she'll look at, and then she'll go straight on into the camera, and you kind of feel like you did something bad, but because she also has a really wonderful smile, if you made her laugh, that's the reward. So this isn't a really good ASMR one, but guys, definitely you want to check out Jessie Quill. She's an absolutely fantastic streamer, a really great friend of this stream's. She is a fellow member of Team Panda. She has got a great variety cast, and in a lot of ways has helped me out in terms of just telling me things like, you know, talk the whole time. And Penny Lane, I didn't mean to step on your wonderful compliment. Thank you very much for saying that. And one of the reasons for that is actually Jessie Quill did say, you know, just keep talking. That's one of the ways to get through the early moments in the one of the early moments, early on when I didn't have people inside of the channel, and we've actually got quite a few people right now by my standards. She was the one to sort of give me that foundational advice, and it's carried through. And one of the things that has sort of guided ideas like doing this Crime Week has been the experimentation that she does on her own cast, and sort of the her ability to always bring something new to the kinds of games that she watches. And, well, that's fine, Penny Lane. I want to acknowledge that, first of all, you followed, so I always appreciate that show of support, but also the fact that you took the time to compliment me. It's my ego requires validation every once in a while. Yeah, I mean, definitely she's somebody who I think is one of the most interesting people to watch on Twitch. She innovates in the genre. Like when I talk about interactive broadcasts along the lines of you know, it's not just playing games on the internet, it's actually a personality there. You know, as silly as I want to be in terms of going up close with the microphone and doing my crappy ASMR casts, she's got natural gifts in terms of broadcasting, both in terms of her vocal qualities, but as well as her expressions. Her physicality during her cast is a lot of fun to watch, but it's really important to remember that it is actually the personality that drives these kinds of broadcasts, and she's really a great sort of standard to, you know, to hold myself to, even if I can't quite follow it. I think the big thing here is that this is a kind of an emerging medium, and in this case she's doing things that I think sort of make it worthwhile. It's where people who maybe don't appreciate, or maybe people who wouldn't watch this for the games necessarily, like obviously Twitch is originally made for gamers, but it can expand to a point where people who maybe don't play games but like watching the personalities can get something out of it. And I think she does a really good job of sort of pushing out those edges and sort of seeing where we can, you know, where we can find new things to do. So with that in mind, guys, we have been broadcasting for about 18 minutes and we haven't gotten any gameplay yet. So with that in mind, let's take a look and see what Battlefield Hardline has to give us. And for this time, we're going to play Veteran. So the way Visceral prefers to play Battlefield Hardline, we encourage all experienced players to do the same. Enemies will have increased damage output. The challenge is greater, but so is the sense of accomplishment. So I'll turn it down if I get stuck too much, but...
That's the sound of the police. That's the sound of the beast. That's the sound of the police. That's the sound of the beast.
Gaze upon this fine country of ours while you can, gentlemen. It's gonna be your last decent view for a long while. Nicholas Mendoza. Shit. Guy like you's really gotta fuck up to land here with me.
You might want to secure that weapon, Deputy, before one of these gentlemen takes it off you.
I always enjoy seeing dirty cops end up on my bus. It reminds me, the system works. Enjoy the ride, detective.
All right, this is the one.
Ah,
Shouldn't take very long. What do you say we bag these guys and go grab some lunch?
Yeah, okay. I know a decent Cuban place around the corner.
Cuban? Jesus Christ, Nick, you're in Vice now. And you're afford better than beans and rice.
Seriously? Beans and rice. Why don't you let me order for you?
Here's an idea. I picked the place. Huh? I promise, you'll never go back to eating plantains ever again.
You ever had Cuban food?
I think you should take the lead this time, all right? Hit with authority, check your corners, find our guy, and we take him down before anyone even thinks about going for their gun.
Yeah, I've done this before.
And not with me, you haven't. All right, let's roll. Use your big boy voice.
Right, so this is kind of a neat way of starting off the game. There's two things, I'll pause. I won't do this too much to talk about it, but there's a couple things that I want to talk about in terms of the start to this game, because there's, first of all, I did play a little bit of Battlefield 3. I haven't played the fourth one, but they do also use sort of the in media res beginning. So in this case, you've got some event that started off at the beginning of the game. You know, in this case, we've got Mendoza, who I believe is the character that we're playing, is caught. He's basically on his way to prison for some reason. Doesn't explain why. You're introduced as basically being a dirty cop for all that you know. And then it goes back to sort of explain what the events are. Battlefield 3, again, begins with you kind of running, you know, again, in a prison suit, shooting up a train, trying to get out of the place, and then you have sort of this story that's being told to investigators, and you're sort of piecing it together step by step. So this is consistent with the Battlefield series, but a little bit more importantly, this is actually a really common feature of crime stories as well. So if you think of a game, maybe a movie like Memento, which I definitely think falls under this sort of story. It's definitely got a good twist on it, and we talked a little bit about how Christopher Nolan, almost all of his movies, like maybe if you make the exception of Interstellar, pretty much all of his movies wind up being some form of crime film. You've got Following, you've got Memento, you've got the 3 Batman movies. I mean, Batman is ultimately a detective. Insomnia. Maybe The Prestige may or may not. I mean, in my case, I think it sort of still counts. But in this case, a lot of the time, these stories get told piece by piece. And of course, it lends itself to it, right? Detective crime stories are always about piecing together the crime, trying to figure out what it is. And so in this case, sometimes they will break up the story. In one sense, it's really good because it allows you to tell the story in the most interesting parts. I mean, this is also something that Stanley Kubrick did in The Killing, and then Quentin Tarantino ripped it off for Reservoir Dogs. Actually, one of the really interesting things about Quentin Tarantino's films are that he has his overt references that he makes to be sufficiently cool. Not random at all, Jugo Lama. Thank you very much for saying so. And hey, Akadak, it's great to see you here. Akakadak's another fantastic streamer, by the way. Doesn't stream as often as I would like, but I think the same could be said about me, so I have to give him a pass on that one. But in this case, the thing that kind of interests me and infuriates me a little bit about Quentin Tarantino is that he will make his cool references that show off how many movies that he wants, but sometimes the references that he makes that are central to the plot, that are like techniques that allow the movie to be good, he doesn't actually make those overt. So in this case, Reservoir Dogs really is The Killing with a little bit more swearing and violence. And you wouldn't know that unless you'd seen Stanley Kubrick's films. And yet you will see so many references, like pop culture references thrown in, because those are the cool ones to make. It's maybe not so cool that you lift a lot of stuff that Kubrick did back in The Killing. So there's nothing really new in Reservoir Dogs if you look at it. And that doesn't make it a bad movie. I really like Reservoir Dogs. But in this case, there's like everything that Reservoir Dogs did that people praised it for had already been done in The Killing. It's just The Killing was made in the 1950s and it's black and white, so people don't pay attention to it. By the way, when people donate, it is actually a clip from The Killing that plays. That maybe people don't appreciate as much. You need all the pieces that you can get. No, not a problem, Akakadak. I'm sorry I didn't give you a proper SO, but I noticed that the audio cuts out whenever I switch out of the menu. Hey, Skeleton Killman, good to see you again. So, again, to get back to Battlefield Hardline here, so this is something that's been used inside of the Battlefield series before, but is also used in the crime genre. So in this case, I mean, this could just be happenstance or something like that, but it's actually a really effective storytelling technique. One, because it does line up with the sort of stories that they're telling, again, investigation and trying to piece together the evidence in the story, but it's also something that the Battlefield series has used, usually to try and motivate the movement from from action scene to action scene. So. And then, of course, as you can sort of see, there's actually a lot of information that's revealed inside here, right? So you kind of can tell, like, based on this guy's behavior, this is one of the things I really like about higher graphical fidelity inside of these games is you already kind of know, like, this guy is probably going to wind up leading us into a dangerous situation. Like, he's really ignorant. Like, he's reduced Cuban culture down into, like, cheap food. It's like, oh, you haven't run with me yet or something like that. Like, very clear. Like, it's a game, so you know it's going to screw up, but it's very likely that this is going to be the reason that this goes wrong, right? So, oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Real Skeleton Kill, man. Hey, Fleet Bar, good to see you again. Fleet Bar is also a Vancouver caster. So.
Police! We're coming in! Police!
Nobody fucking
Get
move!
your hands where I
Nobody
can see
move!
them!
Let me see your
Up where I
hands!
can see
Let me
them!
see your hands!
Move back and away from the
You just
table!
knocked on the wrong door. How about we work this out?
How about the light out of my face, guys?
yeah?
Let's get the hell out of here.
Okay. Keep those hands on your head and turn around slowly. Slowly. Nice and easy.
Oh, you're making a big mistake.
We're all friends now.
This is kind of a neat technique
Hey,
that
spin around.
there's an
Nothing
arrest
subtle.
mechanic inside the game. We're not
know it.
shooting
It's a
up the
fucking
entire room
joke.
yet.
I'll be out by the morning, cop. You fucking know it.
Yeah? The pilot coaxes otherwise.
Fuck yeah! It's not a gun! Get down, cover!
Jesus Christ! That got out of hand fast.
What the fuck was that? You didn't check the door?
Hey, I'm the one making arrests. You're supposed to watch the room.
Yeah. Just check the bodies. See if you can figure out what the hell they were up to.
I'm sorry to hear about the medical leave, Philippe, but I'm glad that you've got a little bit of extra time as a result.
Bingo.
Yeah? What we got?
Wallet. ID. Anyone you know?
Nope. Dead end. Well,
Oh,
there's
wow.
nobody left to interrogate.
Hey, I was tired of burgers, so I got Cuban. Anybody hungry?
Hey, stop right there!
Get after him. Go! Go!
I got him! Stay where you are! Hands up! You're just making this worse! Stoddard! Downstairs! Now!
You have to slide across the top.
You got pursuit training, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is great.
Maintain distance. Try not to kill him.
Get on it. We want him stopped now. We're heading north on Mateo. Requesting backup. Turning left on Crocker from Mateo.
So this is a lot like the French Connection, actually. So this is pretty much throwing every film reference that they... I mean, obviously car chases aren't exclusive to the French Connection, but a lot of the perspectives are actually really similar. I'm not entirely sure if my driving is consistent with the to serve and protect mandate.
All right, enough. We gotta take this guy down.
Wait till I get closer! Stoddard, now! Holy shit!
Stay where you are. Got you, you son of a bitch. Come on.
You have the right to remain silent! Oh, you heard this before, huh?
Yeah, so I mean, during the credits, this is a good time to talk. I think that's a fantastic way to open up a game, right? So it introduces you to the mechanics that you need. In this game, there is an arrest mechanic, so this isn't entirely about shooting exactly... this isn't about shooting everybody. In fact, actually, I think one thing that'll be really interesting, because there's that, flashlight that you're shining in people, there's obviously like a degree of tension, right? You don't necessarily know if these guys are going to be hostile or not. I think it's kind of neat that you're feeling a sort of tension that you might... I mean, I don't know anything about real police work, but clearly the situation can go south and you're going to need to use lethal force rather than the arrest. Obviously, arrests are the preferable method. And so it's really neat that they've included that inside there, and I hope they take the opportunity to, so to temporarily subdue a criminal, flash your badge at them. I think it's really interesting if you can actually deal with that sort of tension between, you know, when are you actually in danger and when can you put a quote-unquote peaceful resolution to the situation. And then in terms of the game, you know, you've got all of the mechanics explained to you. So you've got the arrest mechanic, you've got the combat, and then you've got the car chase. So it's nice, it's action-packed, you get to know about the characters, again, sort of as you expected. Your partner is a bit of a dick and is blaming you for not checking the door when it was his responsibility. You know, it shows off the cool-looking graphics. I mean, it's a great-looking game, but it also gives you all the information that you need to know. So I think it's a really great way of starting off a game. So. All right, guys, sorry about I haven't been following chat that much. So Appendix was about to burst due to an issue that might require... Oh, Philippe, I'm so sorry to hear that, man. And Uncle was a cop, served, and is a cop again. Wow. So Skeleton Kill Man, maybe you can give us a little bit in terms of how good this game is at actually portraying
5 suspects are dead and 1 remains
portraying
in
police
custody
work.
after a dramatic police raid of an Overtown hotel. This marks the 4th incident of apparent drug violence in Miami this week. We now go live downtown for an exclusive Sky 5 interview with Investigations Captain Julian Dawes.
This is an ongoing investigation. So no comment, Captain? This is an ongoing investigation. That is my comment. No comment would be no comment.
What the hell is everybody? Oh, drug war, sir. Saw it on TV. It's like the 80s all over again. In fact, I'm gonna wear a white linen suit with the sleeves pushed up.
With a pink t-shirt. In the meantime, started joint special detail.
Detectives Mendoza Dow, my office.
You two know each other?
Sort of.
Good. I'm making you partners. Sit. Mendoza, you recovered several kilos of cocaine today. Congratulations. So tell me, why does coke get stamped?
Maker's mark, to prove it came uncut from the source.
That's correct. And your coke had a stamp we haven't seen before. Your catch of the day claims you got it from Tyson Latchford, with whom Detective Dow has had several run-ins. I want you two to bring him in for a little chat.
Sir, Mendoza's last run in the field, no offense, was a total clusterfuck.
You're gonna get along great. Dismissed.
I wonder if the two partners will start trusting each other again and one of the partners dies.